today on the Games That Made Me, we're sitting down with Lee, who runs the PixelBroLee channel. This is a fantastic channel, especially if you're fans of role-playing games, as I am. He's gone through well over 100 at this point, role-playing games, system by system. And today we're going to talk a little bit about his channel, his gaming interests, and get to know him a little bit better. So, Lee, pleasure to meet you electronically as it is.
Absolutely, man. It's a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate you reaching out to me. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah,
it's an honor.
No problem. Glad to have you. Well, the first thing I wanted to ask you, I'm coming into this a little apprehensive because normally I'm the guy in the room who knows the most about RPGs. But
you probably still are.
Your breadth of knowledge on RPGs is huge. So, with your channel focusing on that, why RPGs? What is it about that genre that really drives your content and makes you focus on that type of game?
Well, I've always loved RPGs. Like growing up, I played RPGs with my friends, and I had one particular friend who, like, that seemed to be mostly what he played. And so he was the dude that had a lot of games in the neighborhood, and he was constantly loaning out games to people. And so, all the friends started to share different RPGs with each other, and that's what we ended up liking in particular. Now, I play other stuff, obviously, but in particular, I like retro gaming in general, but RPGs are my favorite genre.
Yeah, I love the friend loaning out games in the neighborhood. That's dating both of us, because I know not as common these days. So what did you grow up playing? What was your first console that you really put a lot of time into?
So the first console I actually remember just playing, the first game I remember playing was Super Mario Brothers 3.
Great game. Fantastic.
And I think part of that is like a home video. Like I remember looking at a home video and seeing myself like sitting in like my Mario underwear as a little boy playing Super Mario Brothers 3. I was on the first ice level where you slide down.
Yeah. I got you.
So, and watching, I think my dad had a camcorder and he was recording me playing games or whatever, and everybody around the house, but that's what I was into. It was like tongue stuck out and enjoying that.
Back on the old CRT TV in the living room where everyone's
big
around.
wood panel all around it, But that's what I remember being the first game I played. I was born in '86, and the NES came out in '85 in the US, right? Yep. So I was playing the NES and loving that, and I imagine it's because I have two older brothers, and they liked it as well.
Very cool.
Because everybody's playing Nintendo at that point.
Yeah.
But then when I would play games like that, I remember them specifically being like, "Dude, if you like this, you might like this." And so they introduced me to the old Atari because they had an Atari. And so I started playing
the 2600
games. Yeah. And then I think my aunt had brought at one point. Was it a 7800? Brought it a 7800.
Okay, gotcha.
From Georgia when she came to visit, and I was like, "Oh, okay." So this plays some like almost Nintendo-looking games, and then kind of like long story short here is I kind of kept like as a new system would come out, I'd play that, but I'd always step back and I'd go, "Okay." And I still play Atari and Nintendo, and then I'd play Atari, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Genesis, and then I just continued to do retro even as new things came out, and I played new things.
Yeah, it's funny. I think I saw in one of your videos you have a couple kids, I believe.
Yes, I have. They're currently I have a 13-year-old daughter and an 8-year-old daughter.
Gotcha. I have a 6-year-old daughter. She's turning 7 in July, and I'm sure this is similar to you, but that's been a great chance to go back to retro games that I grew up on. Are you introducing them to that and having them go through some of those older titles too?
Yep, and I intend to push them a little further with it.
Yeah.
They play a lot of newer stuff. My youngest plays a lot of iPad games in particular. She likes that sort of stuff, but she also loves Astro Bot. I think
that's mine too.
It's a great game. So they particularly like that, or she does. And then the oldest, the first level she ever beat in a video game was the first level of Castle of Illusion on the Sega Genesis.
Wow, that's a great
one. And I remember,
to start with.
like
proud dad moment.
It was. She was playing on the CRT, that actual Genesis, not emulating any of this stuff, and she had it plugged up, and she was like jumping when she jumped with the controller, and she beat the stage, and we both celebrated, and it was a big moment for both of us. So
that's
I made her
awesome.
play some of the retro stuff as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I found like it's so funny because my daughter's huge into Astrobot too, which
Right.
I played through and beat. It's a fantastic game, and she just saw me and just started going off to the races on it, and she just loved it. So, one thing I want to ask as well, because we're around the same age. I was an '89 baby. What's the first game that you played that you really remember like gripping you, where you were like, oh wow, like, okay, I really want to invest a lot of time and energy in this, and what kind of was that game, and tell me a little bit about that.
That is a tough question, but I do like that question a lot. Phew, it might be Castlevania, like the
Yeah.
original Castlevania.
Okay, got the NES one.
Yep. But that was even as like a kind of a retro look, because that one probably didn't grip me until a little later.
Okay.
For me experiencing it. I did enjoy it when I was younger, but it was difficult. It's still incredibly difficult to me.
Yeah.
I'm not a very great gamer, but it's like it was a very difficult game.
It's Castlevania, don't mess around.
Yeah, and but I remember like just wanting to push and see more. It's like I want to see more monsters. I want to see what's next,
Yeah.
And so I remember investing a lot of time trying to memorize stages and see the rest of that game. And then similarly, I guess like probably around the same time, DuckTales was a big one.
Yeah, amazing.
I love the cartoon, the cartoon, and then love the video game as well. And so I was constantly pushing to see more of that game.
Yeah,
like,
and
just to see what's next.
the platforming in that game was nuts. It's like I feel like there was so many like TV and movie tie-in games are just crap. But that one you could just tell there was such a passion for platforming and just level design in there. I mean, they just remastered it and it still is fantastic.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, so
wonderful stuff.
What are you playing right now? Tell me about some of the games that are taking a lot of your time these days.
Ooh, okay. So a lot of the stuff, as you've probably found as well, is like I'm finding myself playing mostly for content and experiencing stuff for content.
Yeah.
I'm having a good time currently playing Beyond the Beyond. I've been playing that on my, is it ROG Ally or is it ROG Ally?
I'm not sure what it's called, but I know what you're talking about, but I'm not familiar with Beyond the Beyond. I'm looking that up right now.
It's a PlayStation 1 RPG.
Okay.
And it was actually the first PlayStation 1 RPG I ever played.
Gotcha.
So
I'm just looking that up.
Yep, and it's one I've not talked about on the channel yet, unless it was just in passing. And so, Beyond the Beyond, I'm playing that on the ROG Ally or ROG Ally, and then on the PC, I'm emulating what's the Thousand Arms, which I had never played before, which is another PS1 RPG.
I haven't played that either. I feel like, tell me if you feel differently, but the PS1 RPG era was like amazing. Like it was kind of
unreal.
Would you agree that was kind of like a golden era of RPGs?
Yeah,
okay,
absolutely. So I really think, I mean, the Super Nintendo was amazing as well. Like I really kind of think that was like the end of the Super Nintendo era into the PlayStation 1 sort of setup. There was just wonderful for RPGs in particular. But and that's actually probably the systems I own the most RPGs for. So I mean, I went pretty heavy like when I first started collecting years and years and years ago. But back when PlayStation 1, nobody cared about it. And the games were cheap. I was just like, give me every RPG. I was trying to get every single one of them.
So you have like all of them in discs and like...
I have a lot of them.
Not all of them, but a lot of them.
I have a lot of them. I think I'm missing, maybe 5 or something.
Oh my God. What would you say is like an underrated PS1 RPG? Because that library is huge and it's daunting to go into. Because I've played a handful of PS1 RPGs, but for the viewers who may not have grown up on that, what's one that you think they should really check out that might not have been on their radar?
So if you like horror, and this one was just like crazy rare. I didn't know about it when it came out, but I learned about it later. And if you like horror stuff, Koudelka for the PlayStation 1 is... Did
you do a video on that? Because I think...
I've talked about it before.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me about Koudelka.
So it's just kind of a horror-inspired RPG. It feels very much like if you took Resident Evil and was like, let's make an RPG with this. Okay. Now, it's not necessarily just like zombies or anything, but it's that kind of story. But it has great cinematics in it. Everything feels... like beyond just having CGI sort of cinematics.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm getting over bronchitis.
No, you're good. Don't worry about it. You got 2 kids. I know how it is. They bring home stuff all the time.
And it was the 13-year-old brought it home. But just the 3D rendered models, like in-game cinematic stuff, is fantastic in this game. And then the combat's compelling as well. It's a little slow, as 3D RPGs were in the beginning, but it is very enjoyable. And then beyond that, honestly, well, funny enough, I said beyond that, I'm really surprised with how much I'm enjoying, because like I remember having a good time with Beyond the Beyond when I was younger, but surprised now with how much fun I'm having.
Up and
yeah. And a lot of people kind of like dog on that one a little bit, but it's a Camelot game, which is the Shining Force folks, right?
And Shining Force, and I think they did Golden Sun 1 and 2, which, I mean, talk about underrated. It's just amazing.
Yep. And so I've been having a lot of fun. It has flaws, obviously, but it's a very, very enjoyable game. So those two have been highly recommend both of those. Beyond the Beyond is crazy cheap. Koudelka is crazy expensive. So
gotcha. Yeah, it's funny whenever you go back to a game that you played when you were a kid, and the worst thing ever is when you're like, what the hell is this? Like, how did I love this once? But like, I know I played a lot of Super Mario RPG as a kid. That was like my intro to RPGs. And they have the remake. I'm playing through it with my daughter, but I went back and played the original, and I mean it's like fine wine. It's just so still good. But yeah, that's awesome. And you talk about most of your games are retro focused on your channel, which I love. Being an old head here and growing up on that stuff. Do you think there's any sort of like special sauce to some of those old games that you don't really see in new games these days? What really draws you to those retro titles that you don't really see in more modern titles, in your opinion?
I think I kind of know the answer to that, at least for me.
Would love to hear.
The limitations of the technology at the time make things incredible to me. Like it's so great to think about looking through, like, I guess hindsight, looking back on what the system was capable of, what it ended up, giving us over time, and then thinking about how people were able to design these games under these limitations. I think that's the magic in it. It
agree completely.
Blows my mind. I mean, like when I look at, Koudelka, like when I see this, the way they are doing these, like almost, cinematic film scenes with these 3D character models and trying to get them to move in compelling ways and tell a story that way. Oh man, it blows my mind. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, art from adversity, and I really think that's so key. And I completely agree with you. It's funny that was the answer that for me personally is in my mind. But I remember I saw a video on YouTube once where it was the guy who was animating Toy Story 1, going through how he did it. And, it's hilarious because he's talking about it like, oh, it's so easy and so futuristic and we can do this. And it's like the worst process I've ever seen in my life. Like it's like a spreadsheet on his timeline, and he's like going through each limb, and he's like, look at all we can do. And I'm like, what? Like, but
that's insane.
But I completely agree with you where going through a difficult process like that often makes a superior title. Those limitations sort of create a better game at the end of the day.
Yep, it's impressive. I mean, like, I guess it's to the same extent when you think about Toy Story in that way. It's like at some point somebody sat down with a pencil, right, and a piece of paper and was like, "Look what all I can do."
Yeah,
and it's like that's hard.
Yeah.
Looking back, that's extremely difficult.
Yeah, but
that's compelling to like. And when they start to see more tools and whatever else, we see incredible growth. And I think it's almost like it almost puts retro at an advantage to that sense, to that extent, because like now, if you're a game creator, man, you're not limited by a whole lot.
Yeah,
I mean, like I guess we'll continue to think that, and we'll continue to see more development and whatever technology, but it's like there's a lot more tools. Like the chances of me making a game is much more likely today than it has ever been ever.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's like you think about, it's kind of a double-edged sword where it's like anybody can make things now, which again it's easier to do, which is great, especially with like you think of like AI and all that stuff, which it makes a lot of slop, but there are some areas where it can be useful. Like what do you use to edit your videos? Do you use like Adobe or something else, or
Yep, I use Adobe. What is it called?
I
Adobe
think
Premiere Pro.
Yeah, and
Yep.
they have that auto mask feature. You can like click
Oh, that's
someone, and I'm
incredible.
like that would take me a day to mask out a minute of footage, and now it's instant. So there's some really good things and some things that you kind of miss about when people had to struggle to make games. But you talk a lot about the retro games. Are there any newer titles, maybe indie titles that sort of embody that retro feel that you've glommed onto that you really appreciate and like?
Absolutely. The indie market is huge and incredible. There's so many people making incredible games
Yeah.
that I mean, it's daunting because there's just no way I'm ever going to be able to touch all these games. But there's so many good ones. It's like
back in the day, you had like 10 cartridges
yeah,
at most, and you're like, okay, I can do this. But now it's like there's 1,000 of them. So
yeah,
you're
like
right.
just and there's like honestly, there's probably more free ones out there or extremely cheap ones that I would just never have the opportunity to even to glimpse at
Yeah.
because there's just people creating constantly. Some ones that I've really enjoyed lately, and I'm actually really, really huge into this. I wish there's, I'd love to do a channel eventually on this like modern retro things. I love the idea of
That'd be
modern
awesome.
retro.
Yeah.
I don't know how well that would do, but
You got one fan, don't worry.
it's like
there's a few more of us out there probably.
yeah, because it's like it's so cool to see people look at the past and go, well, this was great, but we can make it better.
Yeah.
And it's definitely there's opportunity there, and so Sea of Stars has been fantastic. I've been enjoying it.
Yeah, great game.
I've been playing it on recently, and then gosh, what are some other things? I wasn't quite. Crosscode is really good.
Which one's Crosscode? I haven't.
It's like you are. It's in. Have you heard of Alabaster Dawn?
No, I can't say I have actually.
Okay, it's coming up. It's their sequel.
Oh, I've seen Crosscode. Yeah, I've seen Crosscode. Yep. Yeah. Okay.
It's a pretty famous indie game at this point.
Yeah.
But I like those in particular. Anything that will go back and do like retro like aesthetics. Oh my goodness, Octopath Traveler. Oh my goodness.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but that I love that 2.5D style. Like the Dragon Quest remakes are starting to use that, and like that's one of those things. We talk about modern versus classic, where it's just such a beautiful melding of the two, where you can look at that and be like, that was a pain in the ass to make, but it still looks like amazing. So I wish there was a button to press to like 2.5D classic games, because I love that so much.
Yeah, me too. Like when I first saw Octopath Traveler, the first game or whatever, I was like, that is, looking at the screenshots and stuff from that, I said, that's like what my brain was thinking when I was playing those games back in the day,
Yeah, so I just saw today a trailer for they're remaking Assassin's Creed Black Flag, the fourth one. I don't know if you ever played that. Most of that series, the older ones are great, but that was kind of like the crown jewel of it. And I'm watching this trailer, and they're like new 4K HD graphics. I'm like, that is what it looked like in my brain when I was playing that game. Like it didn't always look that good. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, dude, that's I do that quite a bit with Resident Evil. Like the first Resident Evil game was a movie to me.
Yeah,
I was playing a movie.
Yeah. And have you played the more recent Resident Evils too?
Yes, I played 7 and 8, and I love both of them. I think they're fantastic. But I'm currently playing 9. I'm only like 2 hours into it.
Okay.
It's just the demands of like I have to play some certain games to keep on schedule.
Yeah, of
keeps
course.
me pretty busy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, 9 is great. I really feel like it brings back some of that like goofiness from Resident Evil 4. No one's like punching boulders like in Resident Evil 5, but like Leon has quips through the whole thing. Like if you're at the beginning, the scene, it was in the trailer, and I was just like, I'd pay $300 for this game, where the Dr. Zombie like kills a lady with a chainsaw, and Leon says, I want a second opinion. I was like, I will pay as much money as possible to get this game.
it's like, yes, campiness.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
great.
And so, we've talked about some of the good RPGs there. What are some classic ones that you've come back to that maybe haven't aged so well? Ones that at one point were good, but you're coming back, you're like, ooh, what? Yeah, I didn't remember that.
These are probably hot takes. That's okay.
Okay.
Like, people, I tend to get eat up about a few of these, but when the combat system is incredibly slow, it just gosh, dude.
Yeah.
One that's the worst for me, without if it's unmodified or anything like that, is Legend of Dragoon.
Oh, that's okay. There are some people who love that game, but I know what you're talking about. It's slow.
Back in the day, man, I
Yeah.
loved it. But it's like now playing it when it's like a battle's taking me like 3 and 4 minutes. I'm like, guys, what? And then it's just the slow movements and the cinematic crawl into the fight. I'm like, come on, man, get me in and get me out.
Yeah.
I don't want to, like, if I'm not fast forwarding that, I'm having a bad time, you know.
You spent a lot of time grinding, I'm sure, on RPGs.
Yeah,
that's your like retro RPG is your genre. That's a lot of time spent grinding levels.
It is. So that's definitely one that I think is struggled a little bit. I've been a little disappointed at times to go back and stuff like early. Well, actually, I don't fault NES RPGs as much as I fault Super Nintendo RPGs. Funny enough, but some of the dialogue is just rough.
Yeah.
At times in certain games.
Yeah.
But I think almost every game falls victim to that in that era. Like, because I was kind of blown away at times. Like sometimes Final Fantasy VI will say something extremely compelling.
Yeah.
And then the next line is kind of just goofy and dumb. And I'm like, yeah, just translation issues. Right?
That's a really good point because, Final Fantasy VI, one of my favorite RPGs. I think it's incredible, with a story with sort of Kefka and how, spoiler alert, the bad guy wins and you have to deal with that. Like, it's so deep and beautiful. But then you have, like, the octopus mini boss making quips through the whole thing. So there's two sides to it.
And another thing, I guess it's the same sort of situation. It's so rarely for me about gameplay, because RPGs are there's differences, but a lot of working designs games, and that usually gets me in hot water. Like the dialogue and working design sometimes is awesome, but sometimes it's just so tone deaf.
Like which games are those? I'm not 100% familiar.
So like Lunar Silver Star Story Complete.
Okay, I haven't played that one. Wait,
I think some other ones.
See, I told you coming in, I'm like, I'm normally the RPG guy.
I think Ease.
Okay. Yeah, I know Ease.
They might have. I think. Oh no, Ease would have been Falcom.
Oh, they did Alundra, I think.
Alundra,
which is one that I'm familiar with.
That's a great game. But I was trying to think of the one that I played on TurboGrafx. I'll have to look at it real quick. See, working design. I'm sure I'll search this and it'll show up.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now, and this is another thing with some of those older studios where they pumped out like 3 RPGs a year, and it was just crazy.
There it is, Cosmic Fantasy 2. Which I mean, that's really early in their stuff anyway. But Cosmic Fantasy 2, there's some like really like tone deaf sort of stuff it says about. It's like there's something serious happening, but then the characters are talking about like everybody in town has diarrhea.
Yeah,
it's just like something that they thought was clever or funny at the time. But I'm like, man, that really takes away from kind of what's going on here,
Yeah, you can't. It's like if they're blowing up the Death Star and Luke's talking about diarrhea that he's holding it. Just like it's funny too because you bring up a good point. I'll ask about this because back then there was such an east-west divide in games where, there's so many of the best RPGs were coming out of Japan and only a very small minority of them were coming to the US. And oftentimes, to your point, there would be either direct translation issues or there would be some cultural translation that, works there but doesn't work over here. And, these days it's so crazy to see that barrier broken down. And, like my daughter loves K-pop Demon Hunters. She loves JRPGs and all this stuff. Can you recall early JRPGs you played that kind of, opened up that side of the world of realizing there was a lot of games over there? Like, for me, when I played Pokemon, I was like, oh my God, what is this? And then you look at other RPGs and you just realize 90% of them came out of Japan. So were there any JRPGs from your youth that kind of opened up that big door there?
I think really a big one for me that's like just quirky and weird, and that kind of shows off that difference in culture is EarthBound. Even though EarthBound, I mean, obviously it's like Americana, a spoof on Americana culture, but it's a very Japanese take on American culture, So But that was one for me because I was like, this
Yeah.
game is so freaking weird, and
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy, but I still love it.
That's like a perfect game growing up too, because it's like it's one of those things where you're like, why is this in the game? What are we doing with this? But it's just so funny and creative and everything like that, and dark at places too. Like
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, this is one of the ones where like you're playing on the CRTV in the family room, and if your parent wanders in at the wrong time, they're like, what the hell is this?
But that's probably like one of the biggest ones for me that I can recall off the top of my head, is because it was just so different. The other ones I could just, extend my disbelief and be like, well, this is just, I would have assumed American stuff. When I was younger, I didn't realize what was going on until I started reading the magazines and seeing, straight from Japan sort of previews and Nintendo powers and whatever else. So.
Yeah, you're dating both of us with Nintendo Power because I got them all stacked up somewhere. And let me ask this too, because I believe in one of your videos, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you said you were an English teacher. Is that correct?
Yes. Yep.
That's awesome. So what year do you teach English, if you don't mind sharing?
I teach sophomores and seniors currently, so it's high school. So it's the sophomores are 10th grade, and then the seniors are 12th grade, but they're also dual credit students. So I'm teaching college English to the seniors. So
I find that so interesting with teaching English and RPGs being the passion. I feel like storytelling is a thread through all of that.
Yep, easy money. It kind of all clicks.
And so this is where everybody clicks off the video where I ask about books. But what are they reading these days in high school? Like Lord of the Flies, stuff like that, or are they changing it up?
They still do.
Awesome.
We read recently this year. Well, I guess my sophomores read The Haunting of Hill House, because there's kind of a resurgence of that with the Netflix show and whatever else. Fantastic book. And it's dark, man.
Yeah,
and
we never read anything that cool in high school. Like Lord of the Flies was like the closest we got to crazy stuff.
Also dark. But with the issues that students deal with, this isolation, that sort of stuff. Like that's a great book for them to take a look at and see how that affects people. And see, like, sometimes the scarier thing is really people.
Yeah. It's like, the bad guy isn't a ghost. It's people in this book.
Don't worry about the house. Worry about your friends.
And what else are they reading? Like what? Or I should ask this: what's your favorite book that you teach for kids to read?
So outside of a. It's my favorite that I've done so far, but they were okay with it. The response was not as good as Haunting of Hill House. But I like teaching Frankenstein, man.
Oh yeah, Mary Shelley. It's classic.
It's fantastic. But of course, it's profound to me.
Yeah.
But then it's like sometimes I worry that it's not they're not quite ready to be thinking about
to get to that.
I want them to get to the point of like, who am I? What am I? Sort of thing, in this great world. But I don't think they'll quite get there. And not a book, that's obviously a book. But for my seniors, while not a book, I really enjoy teaching Plato's Allegory of the Cave.
Oh, awesome! Yeah.
So that's a really fun one to get them thinking about. What is truth? What does it mean? What does it mean to be? What is good? What are we going for?
That's definitely a senior level book, though.
Oh yeah.
Even then, that's tough. But it's my wife read Frankenstein for the first time like 2 years ago and fell in love with it. And
it's awesome.
It's tough too because we're both huge readers in my house, and something like Frankenstein, it's 100 years old now, maybe even a little bit old or something like that, where at the time, you kind of have to put yourself in that time where you read it now, you watch The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix and there's blood and things flying at you. But back then, Frankenstein was like, what the hell is this woman talking about? Like, this is nuts. So
how was such a young lady that in tune with the world?
Yeah, because she was not very old when she wrote. Like, she's younger than we are when she wrote that, I think. And
I think she was a teenager, wasn't she? I mean, she was pretty young.
She was. Yeah, it's nuts. But yeah, that's a fantastic book. What were some of your favorite books outside of school? Anything that comes to mind?
This is gonna be pretty funny. But most of the stuff I enjoy to read anymore is just video game history, man.
There you go.
I love it. Like, especially like nonfiction stuff.
Yeah.
I like hearing about history. One of my favorites, and this is so Wild is a guy who is an English major and then teaches English, and but is the goofiest named book I've ever seen. And I'm almost embarrassed to say it because it sounds like something you would pick up at the fifth
I'll bleep
grade.
it out so our viewers. I'm kidding.
It's a great book. People should read it. The Ultimate History of Video Games.
Oh, I'm gonna read that myself.
I think it's by Stephen Kent, maybe.
Let me see.
There's 2 versions too. Is it Stephen Kent?
Let's see.
Yes,
Stephen
it is.
L. Kent. Yep.
Dude, and it looks goofy, like looking at the book there, but it's not like a picture book. It is a fat history of video games.
I
and
love that.
Awesome. Part 1 and part 2, volume 1 and volume 2 are both fantastic. And so it looks like something you'd see at the book fair.
Yeah.
But as a kid, and it would be full of like pictures and be like Super Mario jumping, and kids would waste money on it. But it is a fantastic book.
That's awesome.
Console Wars, I like that book quite a bit.
Yeah, I read that a couple years ago, and that was one where I was like, every night telling my wife, I'm like, you'll never believe this thing that happened. She's like, I don't care, But it's such interesting history of how involved people were, and like you think of like Nintendo and Sega, and now nobody really cares, but it was just nuts.
Itchy Tasty, the book about Resident Evil.
I don't think I've read that either.
Dude, if you like Resident Evil,
you're adding to my my reading list. I love it. Yeah, both my wife and I read a lot, and I love like big, massive books. Like I read like War and Peace a couple years ago. It makes me sound snobby, but I was like, I loved it, but
that's awesome.
It's one where you have to read like 5 pages a night because I'm like this. I can't
dance.
All the characters are these big Russian names. I can't really get all of it there. But yeah, that's awesome. I'll check out that Ultimate History of Video Games. And pivoting back to video game stuff, one thing I want to ask as well. So we talk about retro games and the modern versus retro and everything like that. What do you think as an RPG and a retro RPG enthusiast, what do you think are some of the key ingredients in a good RPG? If somebody's watching this and maybe they're a developer or they love RPGs, what kind of separates the wheat from the chaff when it comes from RPGs? What are those ingredients you need to make it good?
Dude, in my opinion, might be a really unpopular one, but that's okay.
If you say grinding, we're going to end the call right now.
Well, actually, I think the grind does need to be enjoyable, but
fair, yeah.
Dude, I feel like it's hard to find a good story. I mean, it's hard to find a unique enough story to carry a game.
Yeah.
I think that really like a lot of what drives me into a game now, and an RPG that I want to try out, what's the combat like?
Yeah.
I know that sounds crazy. Most people are like, RPGs are stories, and they are. That's why you get into them. But it's like, dude, when you've seen as somebody that is an English major and somebody that teaches story and literature, it's like, dude, I've read about everything. I've seen about everything.
What you're talking about. Yeah.
So it's like I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's very rare that a game comes along that really kind of challenges my thinking. It's like it's really got to subvert some expectations for me for a story. But combat is I got to have something good, man.
Yeah.
I can't play a good. It has to be. I would rather have good combat and a bad story, and that's a very a lot of people
controversial.
It is.
That's where everyone's gonna link us at the 33-minute mark here. Like, what are you talking about?
This guy's an idiot. Yeah, maybe I am, man. It's all good. But I mean, everybody's got their own right to their opinion, right?
But you're so right about one point there, which is something that's happened to me as well, because I minored in English, majored in sociology, so and love reading and stuff.
I minored in sociology.
Hey, there we go. I always tell people sociology is like the most fascinating thing ever.
It is.
But if you major in it, you either teach it or you serve coffee to someone, because you can't do anything with it practically. But it's like the most interesting thing.
It is so interesting.
And it's so funny because you hit on something that's so key, especially for gamers that are getting up there in years, is a kind of way to say it, as we are. We're not there yet, but still. You've kind of, when you've played RPGs and video games for decades and studying stories as well, you kind of get the beats. Especially, I'll go back to a retro RPG sometimes. I'm like, oh, there's the optimistic farm boy with their roguish thief best friend and the damsel in distress. I'm like, what I get it because it's all kind of similar in that way.
I'm going to be somebody someday.
Yeah. Oh, we got to stop the Empire from getting the crystals. I'm like, how many crystals have I got stopped in my life, you know? And I'm definitely more of a story over combat person myself, but I will say, to your point, if I'm seeing those tropes and I'm 15 hours into a game and I'm just seeing the pieces lock into place, I'm like, what are we doing here? I've done it a million times.
So I'll look up the ending on YouTube, I guess.
Yeah. So with combat systems, what type of combat systems are you talking? Like, you know, what's the gold standard of those for you?
Dude, it's probably Octopath Traveler now.
Okay.
I love it. Like, I could just grind mindlessly on that game.
Yeah.
So that and Bravely Default, I particularly enjoy the idea of pushing a little further ahead and the risk reward setup like that.
I love that. And correct me if I'm wrong. In Bravely Default, it was if something like where if you die, you lose levels or experience or something. Or am I wrong in that? Because I thought there was something where you can push ahead and then fall back or something. I could be totally wrong. It's been years.
I don't think you lose experience. I don't recall though. So.
Okay. Yeah, it's been forever, and with Octopath Traveler, that was I think it was turn-based for that, right? But there were all like synergy and all that stuff that you could do.
The synergy is so enjoyable, and then like working through which classes work well. I mean that synergy, working with which classes work well together when you pair them up, and like trying to find your own path to make your characters powerful in your party or whatever, and then coming from like just getting stomped to stomping stuff is just so enjoyable. The power trip.
yeah it's funny because stories, it's kind of an inverse there, where with stories I need something that doesn't fit the mold, but like I don't know about you, but I can play a turn-based RPG, and as long as it's not like terribly slow, I can still be like, this is fantastic. Like I was playing Super Mario RPG with my daughter. I'm like, this hasn't aged at all. Like I'll play a modern game with that and enjoy it.
With that sort of, actually I don't know where I was going with that. Something I was going to point out, like when you think about subverting expectations, something that like it's when you find a story that is absolutely just bonkers, that's interesting, like really pulls you in. That's when I start to see something different, start to think this is special. And I've not even beaten the game yet, which is another reason people might attack me, but I've played up to a certain point in the game twice now. But what's that game? Expedition 33, dude.
So you are reading my mind. So
it's brilliant.
What I'm doing at the end of these interviews for the series I'm doing is I'm recommending a game, and literally when you were saying, oh, I love the retro aesthetic, I love stories that break the mold, I'm just like, Expedition 33. So where are you in it? So, and first of all, anyone watching, spoilers, if like play this game,
I won't say much.
It's amazing, but I might spoil stuff. But where are you in it? I'm
about like, I don't know exactly, but I've played up to like 15 hours in twice now. Okay. It's about a 25-hour game or so, right?
Yeah, like 25, 30, depending on optional bosses.
So I've seen the big one that breaks everybody's heart. I've seen that twice now, and it still breaks my heart. But daggone, dude, it is a great game. I just keep getting distracted, and I get busy with working on the YouTube stuff as well. But like, I remember when the game was announced, it was intriguing to me because I was like, "What?" Like,
it just looks giant and feels so different. Yeah.
This giant paintress paints a number, and then people die. I was like, "You got me. That's different." Yeah. So it's like, you got me. You reeled me right in on that one, So it's so intriguing. I don't know what happens either. So I still don't know what happens. I managed to avoid spoilers somehow.
Yeah, no, it definitely be careful with that. I won't spoil anything, but the hits keep coming on that one, and I'm at some point I think I'm going to make a video about this where I'm willing to bet you'd agree with this, but as I've gotten older and I've played more and more games, I get so frustrated when a game kind of wastes my time up front. And this with RPGs too, where it's like they do that lore dump for the first 8 hours, and the crystals of Jemiah need to be activated by the rod of the. It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, that's miserable, dude.
Yeah,
miserable. That's one of my that's poor pacing.
Yeah,
is what that is. So it's like that's a definitely an issue I have It's just that lured up in the beginning because it's always
Yeah.
so like, I don't know, telegraph.
Yeah,
It's just
it's
weird.
like, what, there's some ancient elves who are leaving. Okay, like I get it. But with Expedition 33, that opening, I mean, I was crying within an hour of playing that game because it's because it's just it's brilliant. Where it's just like as you know, the game expands a lot. I need to control myself here because I'll just ramble about this all day. But it expands. The lore gets bigger and bigger as you do it. But the beginning, hey, lady paints a number, everyone dies, number goes down every year. We want to stop it.
Yep.
That's it. And then, then it expands from there. So it's funny. That was the game I was going to say. You got to play this if you haven't.
Yeah, when it first came out, like I played it day one, man. Because I'd seen the trailers for it years ago, and I was like, man, that's cool looking. But then it finally came out. The day one it came out, I was like, oh, cool, it's on Game Pass. So I started playing it on Game Pass. I was like, Shelly, this is that game. To my wife, my wife's name Shelly. So Shelly, this game's out that I've been talking about forever. I'm gonna check it out. And then it's like an hour later, I'm in the kitchen, standing there, with tears running down my face, and I was like, Shelly, it's beautiful. I was like, this game's got me already.
I'll put this in the video once I edit it, but I took a video of myself after the credits rolled at the end, and I'm just weeping. I'm like, it's a good game.
Just be clear, obscure Expedition 33. What a fun game.
And then, with the subversion of what you expect in our RPG at the beginning of Act 1. I won't say what it is, but that's one of those things where I'm sure similar for you, but I'm just looking at my screen like they can't be doing this. Like that was like a game wouldn't do this, right? So have you gotten to the part where you've encountered and fought the paintress? Have you gotten that far?
No.
Okay, so I won't go into detail, but what I will say is the game follows a 3-act structure, and what it brilliantly does that so few RPGs do is at the end of each act, it subverts your expectations significantly. So, without spoiling anything, when you get to that point, you think you've been you're going in one direction and the game cuts in a different direction. And it does this kind of, it's kind of like a snowball rolling where you're like, wait a minute, like this is so much more than I previously thought. And you compare that to some retro RPGs where it's like, I've been spending 50 hours trying to find these crystals. Like, where are we going with this?
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like, these storytellers learn how they can effectively, like, here's the past. This is what people enjoyed. Now let's subvert that a little bit and play with it and see what works, right?
Yeah.
So, and I mean, there's a reason. Like, a lot of people get a little snotty about, or get a little weird about Expedition 33 winning, like just sweeping the Game Awards and stuff. But it's like, dude, I don't even beat the game, and there's a reason. Like, I can look at that and go, there's a reason, man.
That's what I said too. People are mad they won like every game award. I'm like, well, it was the best game. Like, well, it did everything right. And I saw an interview with the guy who made it, and he was a former Ubisoft dev, which, Ubisoft wouldn't make anything that great in decades. And, talking about striking out on his own and making something. And, the team was super small and everything like that. But I'm so glad you're playing that, because I was going to say every point is lining up on this for you to really enjoy it.
It's great. So yeah, I guess we should probably move on to. I'm sorry to keep.
No, I can talk about.
And now I'm like, man, I need to go play more of that game. So I want to put something on the back burner and play some Expedition.
Yeah, it's it'll suck you in for sure. And when you get to the end of Act 2, that's just nuts. But yeah,
Okay, one more thing.
Okay, go for it. We can talk about this all night. I'm fine with Expedition 33.
One of the things that got me too is like, and I'm not trying to be a hipster, because I recognize that I'm a hipster sometimes about about weird. I like games that are weird.
Yeah, same. It's all good.
But like in playing the game so early on, because it kind of sat there for a second, and then people start playing and going, "This is incredible," and then it just like caught fire, right?
Yeah.
But when I started playing it, I hadn't heard a whole lot about the reviews or anything.
You were there on day one.
Yeah, so I was like,
Is anyone else seeing this?
I was like, this music's a 10 out of 10. I was like, this story's got me crying an hour in. I'm like, this combat is so amazing. I was like, am I crazy? Like, am I like, this is euphoric, man.
Yeah.
I was like, where's the, like, what's, then of course, it was like, so.
Yeah. My wife isn't a gamer. She plays maybe one game a year. And I keep telling, we have a Steam Deck, and I'll put a game on there for her to play. And I keep telling her, I'm like, look, trust me. Like, this one, I know games aren't your thing, but this is going to wreck you, like, in a good way. One game that might break the mold a little bit from, retro RPGs or RPGs in general, but I'd recommend for you is, have you heard of the game Dispatch? Where it's
I've not played it.
Yeah, that's one I would recommend because did you ever play any of the old, like, Walking Dead Telltale games or anything like that?
I played the first season of Walking Dead.
That's all you need. It went downhill after that. So,
well, good. I guess I got out at the right time.
Yeah, you got in, you got the good one, and then don't waste your time with the other ones. And for the people in the comments complaining, I'm going to put the Metacritic reviews for all of them down here after I said that. But yeah, it's the first game since The Walking Dead that does that style of game impeccably well. And talk about subverting expectations as well. It's I think 8 episodes, and they did it very well, where at the end of every, like, 2 episodes, there's something big that happens and pulls you in, and there's actual gameplay to it as well. You're not just making decisions, you're sending heroes out on jobs, and this really, like, frenetic, fast-paced sort of dispatch gameplay where you're like a police dispatcher sending them out. So I would definitely recommend you check that out, because I think that'll hit some of the main points that really entice you about games in general, but RPGs and retro RPGs.
That's awesome, man. Thank you. I'd seen, because, like, the graphically, when I first saw it, I was like, I was watching Invincible. I was like, that guy looks like Invincible,
Yeah.
So,
and one other one I'll say as well, and you talk about sounding haughty or snobbish, and I'm going to sound snobbish for a little bit, hipstery. Red Dead Redemption 2. Have you ever?
No, dude. Love that game.
Okay.
It is brilliant.
When you say, like, oh, you're an English teacher, you like stories, I'm like, you have to. So let's talk about Red Dead Redemption 2. So you being an English teacher, you experiencing a lot of classic stories, RPGs. Tell me a little bit about what Red Dead Redemption 2 or 1, all of it means to you.
So it's been a while. What happened was I started playing the game when it first came out, and I kind of dropped it. But then COVID hit. And when COVID hit, I was still teaching. Like, I would do online class and stuff.
Yeah, tough times. Yeah.
Yep. And then as things started to ease up a little bit, my wife had to go back into work. She was which, I mean, I guess she never really stopped, but she was going to, she was the CEO of the local YMCA at the time. Oh, awesome. And so she was having to go to work. And I was at home, and she would go, as she would leave, she would say, "Have fun with your horsey stories today."
And I was like, more than that, Shelly.
Yeah. Well, I was like, "Yay, horsey stories!" Yeah. So I'd do my classes or whatever else, and then as soon as I was finished with classes, I'd be like, "Ooh, I'm sitting on the couch and just glued for hours and hours and hours, man." Like, that's one of those games that has such a compelling story that I don't like Grand Theft Auto, which I know is probably, again, another hot take. People love that game, but the story was just so compelling to me that I liked the gameplay. Like, I started to appreciate the gameplay more. And I think it's because it's like, it removes the whole, like, the drug stuff kind of, but the drug stuff and the being hookers or whatever else you're doing in Grand Theft Auto, stealing cars. Yes, Grand Theft Horse, right?
Yeah, we can steal some horses.
Yeah, but that sort of, I mean, the redemption arc there for Arthur is just.
I've beaten it twice. I've cried twice. That last ride back just hit so hard, and I tell people this, and it sounds so snobbish, but as someone who's played it, you'll get it. Where I'm like, look, I've read a lot of books, I've read Shakespeare, all this stuff, and by and large, video game stories can't hold a candle to things like that.
Exactly.
This game gets pretty damn close with
I
the
agree.
allegory of the band of outlaws kind of disintegrating along with the old West at the same time. And like, there's just so many layers to each character. And it's just, it's one of those things where you play it and you're like, it's a miracle that this worked, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's brilliant. It really is. Like, I think that's a 10 out of 10 easy masterpiece.
Yeah.
It's Dutch, right? Is the
leader of the band. Yeah. Dutch,
he's a jerk.
The North. Yeah.
But I like him. I think Dutch was compelling, dude. Like, so good.
Yeah, you know, the thing with me with Dutch is, yeah, you'll appreciate this because you know, he comes up with a plan, the plan doesn't work, and then move to the next location, right? And I remember there was I could see this so clearly in my mind, where the moment where I was like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing, was you're riding into Saint Denis right after you destroy the Braithwaite Manor, and everyone's like, what are we doing now, Dutch? And he says, we are going to Tahiti. And I was like, this guy, we're all going to die under this guy. But he is such a complex and nuanced character. Tell me a little bit about, you know, your thoughts on that character and why that resonates for you.
I don't have that much more to add to it, honestly. It's just the fact that he is so, that sort of like idealistic, like he knows kind of what he wants, and he's idealistic, but he's also irresponsible in what he's doing.
Yeah.
And kind of pushing everybody toward his vision without being able to guarantee them success and that sort of stuff. And just like these elaborate ideas of like, well, the things that I have known are dying, the Old West, right? It's like, this was my stuff. And that's gone. So like, where do I go now? It's like, well, I've heard of a place called Tahiti. So it must be wonderful.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm like, we're all going to die.
Yeah, just that sort of that push, and then the manipulation of his people constantly, and like he's a good bad guy, dude.
Yeah,
like
I love at the beginning of the game too. He gives this like amazing, rousing speech to everybody. You know, it just seems like it's from the heart and all this.
He's charismatic. Yeah,
he's incredible. And then later in the camp, you can see the speech. He wrote it down, so he planned it in advance. And you're like, oh, like what? You know, so there's so many layers to him and his interplay with Hosea and how after Hosea is killed, how he kind of gets a lot worse. I mean, it's borderline Shakespearean. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yeah. It's absolutely wonderful. Which I mean, when that same sort of setup, like I can appreciate. What's that company called?
Rockstar.
Rockstar. But I actually really did. You play LA Noire? Mm-hmm. I loved LA Noire up until the ending's a little kind of
the ending was weak, but my wife
everything
and I
after that.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's a great one to play with someone else, because my wife and I would play that and we'd be like, he's lying, like what? Just scream at the TV. There's like a first guy in the game that's lying, and he's instantly like that. And like I wonder,
it's rough, but the technology for the time, dude, was really impressive.
I know Xbox 360 doing that was crazy. But yeah, one thing I ask as well is, you know, we're coming towards the end of our time here. What are some upcoming games you're looking forward to? You know, we've talked about Expedition 33, Red Dead 2 as being big ones. Anything on the horizon that really entices you right now?
Yes, the Miles something Millennium Tales.
Ooh, what is that?
I gotta look it up here. So Adventures of something. I gotta look at the word.
I'm looking up.
Adventures of Elliot, Millennium Tales.
I'm looking up that right now.
It's it looks kind of like it's got that 2D HD art style, but it's more like Legend of Zelda sort of stuff.
This looks crazy good.
Yeah, dude. There's a demo out, and it's wonderful, and I'm really excited about playing that. I think it comes out in June. I think it's real close to my birthday, actually.
Oh,
I was
awesome.
Like, treat me. I don't know really that there's anything else coming out this year that I'm at least aware of. Oh, wait. As for games that aren't RPGs, Mina the Harvester from...
Not familiar with that, too. I'll put it up on the screen.
Let's see, Mina the Harvester. Hollower. Excuse me, Mina the Hollower. It's the people that made the Knight game. What is that?
Hollow Knight?
Hollow Knight, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's the people that made Hollow Knight. And it's very much... It's a very Zelda-looking game.
Awesome.
So... but I really like their stuff. So I thought Hollow Knight was brilliant. Not Hollow Knight, excuse me. Crap, what's that called?
Right, I'm looking it up right now.
Yacht Club Games. But what did they
Shovel
make?
Knight. There you
Shovel
go.
Knight.
I gotcha.
It's sad that I could remember Yacht Club Games and couldn't remember Shovel Knight.
Yeah, it's one of the nights. There's a million of them.
But
Yeah,
that's
no,
some of the things I'm interested in that are coming out.
I'll put both of those on.
I'm trying to think if there's anything like there's a lot of I mean, for indie stuff, there's just a endless pipeline of incredible looking indie games coming out. I'm actually pulling up my this library or my stream on or my wish list on Steam to see what I put on here. But that might not. Oh, no, not that.
Yeah, it's been kind of a slower year for games this year. I feel like everything kind of dropped last year.
Let's see. I mean, I just have so much catching up to do. You know what? If it just stopped for a while, I'm good to go for a long time.
Another COVID that sends us inside for a while.
Yeah. Oh, Eternal Life of Goldman, which again, not an RPG, but it's what I'm interested in because it's like DuckTales.
Oh, okay. There you go. I'll put that on the screen too, and my wish list is getting even bigger now.
Yeah, it's. I mean, they're just. I think we're eating good as gamers, dude. We have so much opportunity for us, and like access to so much. Like with emulation, of course, makes things cheap. You know, most cell phones nowadays can run just about everything you could think of. Yeah. So it's like there's really not a lot of reason to not try out some of these games. So I'm really having a great time revisiting some stuff and thinking about like, well, again, that whole idea is like I can't believe people were making this. Yeah. You know, back then. So. Yeah.
I think back to, growing up, you were 86, I was 89. You got, a handful of cartridges next to the system, and that's kind of it. And you just got to play what you got. You go to Blockbuster and rent a game now and then, and hope it's not terrible and see what happens. But yeah, I feel like it's a slower year for game. I've been playing World of Warcraft a lot lately, just getting back into that, which is derailing everything else in my life as World of Warcraft.
I did the same thing. I played TBC Classic when it came out, and
that's what I've been playing.
I was like, I gotta stop. Fortunately, my buddies were like, whenever retail came out, they were like, well, let's jump into retail. So they jumped back into retail, and I was like, I can't follow you. Yeah, you're Anakin. You're going down a path that I can't follow, my friend.
What did you play back in the day, like vanilla? Okay, what did you play? Racing class.
I played a Night Elf Druid first.
Oh, okay.
Because I wanted to play a Druid very much so, and that wasn't available on the Horde at the time, right?
Yep. Or I think so. I think their Taurens could be Druid, but I don't.
That's what it was because they had Paladins and Shaman. That's what it was. That was the two distinct ones. But yeah, we played. I played a Night Elf Druid, and then I eventually ended up being a Tauren Warrior. Was kind of the big thing for me for the longest time. Now, Warrior was what I was playing on TBC Classic as well.
Yeah, it's always fun with tank class like that. I was a Night Elf Hunter. I ruined so many raids with bad polls, but that's what we all did back then.
Played a lot of World of Warcraft as well. When you messaged me and asked about like some games that kind of made me, and I asked my friend group, my little text group that we text each day, and I was like, guys, what are some games for us? And they were like, World of Warcraft and EverQuest. I was like, yep, that's been like our drug of choice for a long time, to the point that my wife was like, my wife has gotten to the point now. She said, if you start playing EverQuest again, I will divorce you. And I think she means it. I'm worried. So people start talking about it. My blood starts itching. I'm like, guys, we got to stop.
So how long did you play EverQuest for originally, I assume?
I started back in 2000. It came out in 99. I started playing in 2000. And I played consistently through high school, all 4 years of high school. And then
that was me with World of Warcraft. Yeah.
I played all the way up until World of Warcraft came out. And then I started playing World of Warcraft. And then I played off and on with EverQuest with time lock progression servers and such.
Yep. So I always find it weird talking about EverQuest or WoW or RuneScape, like, because the way that people talk about those games, like that we're talking about right now, it reminds me of how like former drug addicts talk about it.
It absolutely is.
Like, so when'd you do it? Like, when'd you get clean?
Dude, I know it's like, and if my friend group, if we'll start, like somebody starts talking about it, like when we going to play, then we all start itching, and it's like, God, we don't have time for this. We have children, they got to live. We got to feed them and keep our jobs.
Yeah, I got my daughter playing World of Warcraft with me, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But
awesome.
yeah, she's a little mage, and I'm like, it's taught me that I'm like 10% a parent and 90% a gamer, because most of the time I'm like, oh, you're doing great, honey, but you get a bad pull, I'm like, fireball, what are you doing? Like, we're gonna get killed by these gnolls.
Oh, that's I remember, not that long ago, this is some psycho stuff, but the last progression server I was on, maybe I picked up my daughter from an after school program, and I was tethering my laptop to my phone, and we were hitting a raid target on EverQuest, and I was like, I just need you to keep hitting this button over and over. So we're driving along, and she's just like, I was like, you don't have to move, just do that for me. She's like, okay. And so I'm driving, I'm like, yeah.
I've done that with my wife. I'm like, hey, I need to go to the bathroom. Can you just like press 1 and 2 back and forth here? Is that hunter life? Well, hey, Lee, thanks so much for talking to me today, giving me some details on your channel and the background there. Again, for anyone watching, you can check out Lee at PixelBroLee Bro. Great channel for anything.
PixelBroLee.
PixelBroLee. I'm sorry. There's some guy who's PixelBroLee Bro who just thought they got a free shout out, and they're all pissed off now.
Curse him.
Yeah. But yeah, you can see some great RPGs there, and the recent video you did that I really loved was the arcade RPGs, where you played that D&D side scroller game. So, because I was like, arcade RPGs, what's he talking about? But they're actually out there, and they look awesome.
Yeah, they're fun, dude. Again, subvert expectations. That's kind of the thing, right? So it's like, because I was thinking, I know I've played some games that are like RPGs.
Yeah.
Arcade before, and so I thought that would be fun to mess around with. But I'm glad you watched, man. I'm honored. And
awesome.
Sean, thank you so much, man, for inviting me to be on here.
No,
and of course, I'd be happy to have anybody drop by and chat. And I'm encouraged. Thank you.
It was a great spending a lot of time with you here today, Lee. And I'll get this posted up and link to your channel and everything like that. And it was a pleasure. Thanks so much for taking the time.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, you have a good one. Bye.